Should we confirm minutes?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is my first meeting with you, and I may need a little bit of guidance on following your protocols and procedures. I'm sure either of the two ladies on my left and right will step in as required. So, firstly, some introductions, and I will start on that. I know that I will be a complete stranger to most of you, and I should just briefly speak to my background. I am an engineer. I studied mechanical engineering at Auckland University. I went into the steel industry, was a part of the Robert Muldoon's Think Big expansion in the late 70s, and so I was involved with the expansion of the Glenbrook steel mill, which went from $1 billion to $2 billion to roughly about $2.7 billion by the time it was finished. Over that time, BHP bought New Zealand Steel, and I became part of the Australian global company BHP. During that time of ownership with BHP, I became heavily involved with safety leadership in a very high-risk environment. Went through a DuPont program run by an American company and basically had my brain rewired around how to manage safety. Rather than join the BHP nomad of moving the family every 3 years from continent to continent to continent, I decided to leave and join Auckland Airport. I was a part of the initial public offering at Auckland Airport in 1998, and I learned a lot and became very familiar with the art of commercialising airports and increasing the earnings. In 2008, I left the executive world and have been working as a company director full-time since then. So I thought it was necessary just to give you a product summary. I realise I come from far away, almost another planet perhaps, but I'm very pleased to be here, and I am going to enjoy working with the Queensland District Council. So thank you. Other introductions, please.
Everybody knows me, but Mayor of Queensland District, and welcome everybody to the meeting.
Barbara Phillips, CEO, Queensland District.
Riley Burden, Northern Ward Councillor. Mark Rogers, Chair, West Roads.
Group Manager Corporate Services at Westland.
Graham Kelly, West Roads General Manager.
Rob Corbell, West Roads Director.
Diane Maitland, EA.
Ashley Kesson, Southern Ward Councillor and Deputy Mayor.
And Chris Gawley, Chair, Destination Westland. That's a pretty big TV in the background too.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Chris. Thank you. And we will be in touch too. Thank you for that. Moving on to apologies. We have apologies from Councillor Tumahai and Madgwick. We need to move that these apologies be accepted. And seconded. Left.
Thank you.
Declarations of interest. The interest register has been circulated, has it? That's your mistake.
That was circulated by Microsoft Teams and
Okay.
And just noting on that, Stephen, I've had 4 things removed off it. That's changed.
Okay. So is it normally done before the meeting rather than in the meeting?
we normally have that tucked in about the same position, just a reminder, refresher. And if anybody has done an update, it's just a reminder, anybody can do that from there.
Okay, thank you. So we've covered declarations of interest. Let's move on to section 4, staff reports. And we have a paper from Leslie Crichton, Group Manager, Corporate Services and Health Insurance, covering the terms of reference for the Council-controlled Organisation Oversight Committee. Leslie, would you like to talk to us?
Good afternoon. This paper is to
provides the terms of reference that have been adopted by council for the CCO Oversight Committee. I will take the report as read, try and answer any questions for you.
Yes, Sedona?
This is in regards to terms of reference.
Terms of reference for the committee.
I just have one question, and it's under.
Through the chair, is the Mark allowed to speak on behalf of the committee?
Well, just be clear here. So you have presented the paper to us, the terms of reference.
To the committee members for their approval to work under. So the council has provided these, reviewed them and adopted them.
Yes.
For your remit as to how the committee works and what sits under your delegation.
Yes. And you.
But Mark is not part of the committee, so.
You're taking it as read. You've asked if there are any questions from the committee members.
Yes.
Are there any questions from committee members? And then the question is, we have the chair of Westroads here, and you would like to ask a question as an observer of this. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So under 2, responsibilities, review of strategy documents, I just had a question in regards to bullet point 2, making recommendations to council regarding approval of strategic plans and business plans. I understand the intent of providing a letter of expectations, which I support and the board support fully, so that we're aligned with the shareholder. Typically, the SOI will reflect that, and there'll be dialogue that will happen from there. SOI will be adopted. In regards to strategic plans and business plans, the board would normally be responsible for developing and implementing those to affect the statement of intent outcomes. And the approval, it's the word approval of strategic plans and business plans that I just wonder how that will work in practice. So I'm happy to share them, happy to engage over all that detail, but normally the board would be developing that with management.
So your question is really one of understanding how that would work in practice.
Yes.
And I think that by the sharing of the letter of expectations and then your draft statement of intent, and then the council replies back to that with feedback, which hopefully will register with your board, and then you come through with your final one. I think in that process, there will be adequate visibility and opportunity to talk about the strategic plan and business plans. I think it will get closure in that way. But do other committee members have a view on that?
So that's quite correct, so that's probably a change we could make that wording there. But whether you bring that to council for endorsement or something along that line, that brings us all onto the same page moving forward.
So can you just clarify how that's landing then, please, Mary?
So because the approval will be with approval, we're getting approval of the board, of the Western board with the strategic plans and business plans. That would be with you, and we've noted that with you, but bringing the recommendations to council for endorsement. So, wording of that, any
You can change the wording on that to support that.
Thank you.
Excuse me, through Chair, I just want, I think it is, as some people have spoken here, it's really just about making it clear that the making of the recommendations is from this committee. The approval of the strategic plans and the business plans would be, my understanding, would be the board, as I think you've indicated. But this committee would be putting forward an endorsement or a recommendation to the council that they should be agreed and moved forward. Is that, so I think it's just, I'm sorry, I think it's just making clarity on that line about that it's the committee making recommendations, so that there's no misunderstanding as we go forward. Sorry, I didn't pick that up when I read it the first time either.
Penny, you've got those amendments? Correct?
No, I've got notes on it, but I don't have the exact wording. Can we finalise the exact wording after this, or will that need to go in a resolution?
Is it as simple as having council control organisation oversight committee make recommendations to council regarding approval of strategic plans and business plans? So does that satisfy your question or your concern, Mark?
I think it would be, if it was that, Council Control Organisation Oversight Committee making recommendations to Council regarding endorsement.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So do we need the CCO oversight committee at the start of that if we would change approval for endorsement? Probably not. No. Cool.
Yeah, this is the terms of reference for this committee, so. Okay.
Approval for endorsement.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for the discussion.
Thank you.
Are there any other points to be raised in regard to the terms of reference? Okay, if not, then, yeah, okay. So then we are going to resolve that the report be received and that the committee adopt the amended Council Control Organisation Oversight Committee terms of reference. Do we have someone to move that, please? Yes. The Mayor, and seconded. Thank you. Very good. We now come on to establishing a meeting schedule. As per the terms of reference, the committee will meet at least quarterly in each financial year. And we need to consider the approximate timing of when those meetings will take place. Can I ask you, Barbara, whether you have got thinking in place on this, or how would you like to handle this?
I guess my thinking around this is how we tie it into the preparation of the documents that then need to feed into these meetings in a timely fashion. So perhaps I think we've made a call around that they are quarterly, and I'm assuming that that's the appropriate duration of where we occasion when we should meet. I wonder whether it might be appropriate if I have a conversation with my colleagues at both of the board levels to work out where the preparation of their documents is, so that we could then put those in the diary in the appropriate places within the month, and then circulate that out of this meeting for confirmation. How would that suit?
Well, there are quite a few moving parts to fix the work plan. We would start with the committee signing off on the letter of expectations, which has to be done quite quickly.
Yes. So we could frame those, put those in and use those as our milestone points going forward, and then circulate, put all of those moving parts in and then circulate. Would that suit?
Yeah, and yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
So that takes care of the letter of expectation being developed and then signed off in the back of board, and where the committee needs to be involved.
Right. And then there will be a draft SOI that comes through sometime around the early March, and there will be a review process for that. which will involve this committee then giving guidance to the Westland District Council itself on the draft SOI, and there will be a need to return comment fairly promptly to the CCOs on the draft SOI that's been made. And I would imagine that would be probably in April, because the CCOs will then, they are required to finalise their SOI by the start of the financial year, which is July 1st. And we've also got half-year reports due by the end of February, and the annual report by the end of September the 30th. I'm not sure whether whether the Oversight Committee needs to meet around those. I wouldn't see that as necessary, but are there other thoughts on that?
You have normally presented to us as council, haven't you, at that time?
Okay.
If I may. So here's the question from the CCO perspective is, who would you like us to present to?
Yes.
The SOI, draft SOI will be submitted by the 1st of March in line with the requirements. The 6-monthly report will be provided by the end of February, similar time frame, and we would be available to come in at the end of March meeting to present both. One or like two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I think it's time for letter of expectation feedback to come as well.
So what I'd like to do really is to take this discussion and finalise it with you after the meeting to start to look at if we can lock in some dates. All right, thank you for that. Then the last agenda item is future agenda items, and that is the committee work plan. Leslie, are you speaking to this, or is there?
I wasn't, there was no intention for me to speak to it. I think it was merely a discussion about what goes on, what you would like to see on that work plan. And basically what you require from the CCOs, I would assume, and how you want to work with them on that.
Okay, so what I suggest we do there is the discussion that we've just had on the dates and timing of various events. I think we will document that as a response to 6.1 once Barbara and I have resolved the timing and dates. Then that will become the committee work plan.
Letter of expectation will need to be on there too.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And Barbara and I have discussed it.
Do we need to record that on the work plan?
Yes.
As such?
Yes, it will be.
It will be anyway, yes.
Should form the basis of this.
Yes, it's the starting point.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we will follow up on that immediately after this meeting. Are there any other items that people wish to raise? Okay. Any comments from Destination Westland?
No, I'll just echo what Mark said. I think we've got to make sure we line up the legislative requirements for delivering information to you. And if we can time it well with our 6 monthlies, it's just nice and efficient for all of us, isn't it? So I'm just backing up what Mark said, really.
Thank you. Well, if there's no other business, I can declare the meeting closed. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you for that. Nice and smooth.